Okay.
There we go.
There we
There
go.
it is. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, now I can hear myself. Okay, so we're testing new stuff today. We're over on Twitch. Hopefully, it's coming through. If anybody's on Twitch, let me know. Anyway, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela, and today I've got Caesar with me. He's actually on that side. My channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started with voiceover and audiobook narration. If you're not new here, you know, every week we have a new poll. And this week the poll is, what kind of recording space are you using? Because we're talking about booth building today for voiceover and or audiobooks. We got a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to try to just keep the pleasantries to a minimum. But for those of you that know Caesar, you guys all know and love Caesar. If you don't know Caesar, Caesar gave us a quick little speed dating snippet about who you are.
Sure thing. Okay. My name is Caesar Esturco. I am a voice actor and a sound engineer and a web developer and a graphic designer, and I occasionally cook lasagna. It's pretty much all there is to know about me.
Do you really like from scratch lasagna?
No, the last time I tried to do that, I set the house on fire. So I just,
Oh, yeah, that's
yes,
probably an indicator to not do that. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Well, I wanted us to get together today because I know we talk a lot about microphones and things and EQ and noise reducers. We went kind of into depth on that the last time you were here. But I want us to step back a little bit and talk about even more basic than that and even more important than what we've been talking about, and that is the space.
Hmm.
Because what we don't know in the beginning, because our eyes are all big and, you know, ooh, look at all that shiny equipment. I want that microphone. I want that interface. I want all that cool stuff that everybody else I see on social media using. And we totally neglect the more important aspect, which is our space. The
That's true.
space is
Mhm.
more important than your gear. People, when you're recording voiceover, can hear your room over your fancy mic. In fact, your fancy mic will make your horrible sounding room sound even more cleanly horrible.
That is very true. Um,
A more defined horrible.
One of I guess this is a core memory. I had a client who, I guess, got seduced by the whole Neumann TLM 103, kind of like the
Mhm.
gold standard of voice
Yeah.
acting, audiobook narration, and she stuck it in a 4x4 utility closet and put like 2-inch foam inside it, and it sounded horrible. And the reason why is because a microphone that sensitive is going to tell you exactly what is wrong with your space. And a lot of times, the reason why people ignore the space aspect of voice acting or audiobook narration is because one, they're simply not aware. Two, it's the least glamorous thing, really.
Yeah.
It's the room. A
Hmm.
room is a room to most folks, but they see the Sennheiser MKH 416s, they see the TLM 103s, the U87s, and they go, I'm going to invest $4,000 into this and stick it in a room that's basically all flat and reflective. And well, then they quickly realize that they did not invest properly.
Hmm.
So, what I'd like to talk about is when you do start voiceover, and a lot of people start voiceover with basically, I just dropped $200 on a mic and an interface, and I have nothing left. So, what
Yeah.
can we do? Right?
Hmm.
First, find the quietest place in your house. Um, and it should be comfortable enough that you don't feel like you're in a pine box. All right. So it could be a walk in closet, it could be a spare bedroom, which you can, I don't know, dedicate a small part of that spare bedroom with for voiceover, right? We're not even going to think about noise control just yet. Okay. So, level one, on a budget of $0, pillow fort, right? Just stack a bunch of pillows. Um, if you've got mattress toppers or if you've got actual mattresses that you can use, create a space that's soft enough that, it absorbs bounce. That's really it. Um,
So you
and
essentially
that
want a padded room.
pretty much, yeah.
Straight
A matter
jacket
of fact,
optional.
yeah, well, some of the things I've read. But yeah, just create, I don't know, like a fort, a pillow fort. You've done that as a kid, all right?
Yeah.
You know how to make a pillow fort. Second, is the blanket fort, and it could be on a PVC frame if you got, I don't know, pipes and those little elbows and everything, and just put moving blankets on top of them. That's great. If you have a walk-in closet, set up the actually, you know what? If you are in a walk-in closet, utilize what's in the closet already. I imagine it's got clothes and stuff.
Clothes. Mhm.
Uh, Here's the thing. As long as the walls are not flat and exposed, you can just make it as messy as possible, and it's gonna sound great. Throw in as many clothes as you can in that space. You can hang them, you can pile them up in a corner, whatever. The messier, the better. All right. Uh, and that's going to work great. And then from there, you can move on to a blanket fort if once your budget increases, as you earn money through your business.
You said
So,
messy. Why messy? Clarify what you mean by messy.
oh, that's
Messier the
equal
better.
because a flat surface will bounce stuff. All right. Now, a surface that isn't flat, that's got diffuse materials, like clothes in a pile in the corner, or pleating, that's that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
If you have a clothes rack with sweaters and shirts and all that, that will create an uneven surface. So sound will not bounce off of it. It will either scatter or it will be absorbed. So
Mhm.
that's really it. You can start with
Like
that.
like we always say, it don't have to be pretty,
It
right? It
doesn't
just
have
it
to be.
this
Yeah.
just has to sound good.
You don't even have to color coordinate your stuff, it doesn't matter. Just uh, as long as you've got clothes and pants and jeans and whatever, and then like a pile of something else off to one corner, you're great.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when you eventually do, you get a blanket for it with a PVC frame, then pleat your blankets.
Yeah.
And if it's close to a wall, for example, make sure that there is a little bit of space between the blankets and the wall. 4 inches is great, two is fine. But what's going to happen is that it's going to create, what do you call that? A, uh, a place for sound to scatter. So the blanket will absorb some of the higher frequencies, and then the rest will be for diffusion of low and low mid frequencies. There you go.
Mhm. So, in addition to moving blankets, if you're at the place where you have just your everyday linens and things around the house, then you just want to get started. You just want to see if this is something that you really truly enjoy, and maybe you already have a mic or something like that, but we're focusing on the room. If you
Hmm.
don't have moving blankets, if you don't have anything that fits that bill, and you don't want to go buy anything, you can use that extra duvet that you keep for Aunt Margaret when she comes over to visit. And
Absolutely.
in some cases, you can even use towels if they're soft and fluffy and you got enough of them
Mhm.
to do what needs to be done.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to go out and buy these exact things. Just think,
No.
dense, fluffy surfaces and just kind of drape
Mhm.
them, around you.
Yep.
And
And
also, don't forget the floor and the ceiling above you as well.
yeah, if you have a rug of some sort, put it underneath
Hmm.
you. The ceiling, you can, well, if you can create a frame of some sort, make sure that you've got a soft surface above you as well. That's going
Hmm.
to prevent what do you call it, flutter echo,
Yeah.
and put something soft on your desk as well.
I have one of those
But
giant gaming mouse pads
oh
on
yeah,
my
those are awesome.
desktop to
Yeah.
help with that. Yeah, because we don't think of that either. The
Mhm.
desk can reflect as well if it's got a lot of space, a lot of
Yeah.
flat surface. That's going to reflect as well.
Yep. If you see some of the behind the scenes for huge publishing houses like HarperCollins and so on and so forth, a lot of times they have one of those orchestral, the place where you put your musical
Oh,
notes in.
yeah, a music stand.
A music stand, exactly. And they put a like a thick towel on top of it,
So those
and
will
then
reflect
the
too.
exactly, yeah. Because
hmm
again, the mic is right above you, so that'll bounce. Um, so you mentioned duvets and stuff earlier. One of the things that we should also pay attention to is that to not stretch the material so thinly so as to make it completely ineffective. Hang it loosely or pleat it. If you lack space, for example, don't try to stretch it out and maximize that poor one towel or one duvet. Just get another one if you can, and then just pile them up together, hang them together, pleat them a little bit, and then you'll have your sound absorption and diffusion.
And if you don't have a lot of comforters, you can always go to your local thrift store and pick one up for a couple of bucks. Wash it
Yeah,
and then
of
throw it,
course.
wherever you need to throw it.
Yep.
I mean, that's a thing.
A lot of folks, I think, get their stuff from Facebook Marketplace, and a lot of times they're just given away for free. You just have to drive over and pick it up.
hmm Yeah,
So
eBay's another.
that's right.
Um, I think a lot of people also um, the microphone positioning within the space is something that trips people up as well.
Mm,
I have
absolutely.
found personally that um, a lot of my mentees have had their microphone completely flipped around the
It's around.
opposite way,
Hmm.
and we spend so much time trying to figure out why they sound so far away when they're the appropriate distance from their microphone. And I have to say, okay, check this. Look for a gold or silver dot, when you got a front facing microphone.
Hmm.
And if it has a gold or silver dot, that is the front. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Please don't be embarrassed if that's you, because there's no instructions given with these things. If it is, it's a QR code that you got to scan and then go open up the PDF manual. And who has time for that?
Who has time for
So
that?
if that's an issue for you, just try that. And also,
Mhm.
this is a good rule of thumb. Do
That's right.
this hang loose gesture with your hand, and that's the distance from your mic to your mouth,
Mhm.
roughly. And you might need to adjust it from there, as in terms of, the angle or how far, like where. We can get into the weeds on that one, but
For
just
sure.
something to keep in mind.
Yep, yep. And let's see. One huge secret weapon, actually. We're talking about home studios here, or home recording setups here, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not soundproof, right? Because it's not part of the spec when you buy a house or when you rent a house, whatever.
Right.
A lot of times they do try to keep things a little more cost effective when they're building the house. So you have a hollow door, perhaps, or
hmm
maybe it's a little gap underneath the door. Uh, if you want to get it as close as possible to quiet, if you want to get your noise floor down as much as possible, then you can weather strip. That's one of the things, kind of like seal up the door from with a frame, so there's less of a gap, or stuff a blanket at like underneath the door. But one thing that you can do, because you did mention mic technique, is to make sure that the back of the microphone, the least sensitive part of the microphone, is pointed towards the most noisy side of your house. All right. So let's say, for example, you got neighbors off here or something like that. Make sure the back of the microphone is pointed that way. All right.
hmm
And then the quietest part, let's say maybe this is, I don't know, the hallway or whatever, not a lot of foot traffic, that should be behind you because that's where your microphone is that's where it's most sensitive.
I'm glad you brought up soundproof because there's a difference between soundproof and sound treatment. And
Yes.
myself included in the beginning thought that I had to have everything soundproof. Like
Hmm.
none of the kids outside, because I have a playground like 15 feet outside my studio, and the kids come and play. I could
Yep.
still hear the airplanes overhead. My booth, for all intents and purposes, is not soundproof.
Hmm.
It's sound treated. There are
Yes.
still going to be noises, unless you have a whisper room or a Studio
Hmm.
Bricks booth that you're going to be closer to soundproof in those. But if you're
Oh
just
yeah.
working out of your closet, it doesn't have to be soundproof. It just the interior
Oh
needs to be treated so the what you record inside of that space sounds good. You'll still have to
yes.
pause if a train goes by or a plane flies overhead, just pause and then
Absolutely.
start the
Mm,
recording again. We all do it. So it doesn't have to be soundproof.
yeah. I mean, we're not in a professional studio with the
Right.
false floor, and it's
Right.
decoupled from everything, and
Hmm.
it's like a dead minus 85 decibels. It's that is a pipe dream. You can't achieve that with a home studio,
Yeah.
and if you can, then you're spending like I don't know $4,000. So don't do that. Instead, time your recordings. When it's quietest, record. If noise happens outside, like if a car zooms past, stop, wait for whatever to go away, uh, and then resume again. You
Hmm.
know, um, there's. It's going to be very difficult to make the perfect recording space in a house,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
You just
shouldn't
got
even
to work with what you
cheat.
got.
Work what you got exactly.
So with summer approaching,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk
Oh,
ventilation.
ooh, on a budget.
Well, maybe not on a budget per se, but it is something to consider. We have a member in Launchpad who
Mhm.
had a very small room, and
Right.
she would completely shut the door while she was
Mhm.
recording, and she experienced lightheadedness and she got sick.
Oh,
And yeah, she discovered that she was in there too long, breathing in that carbon monoxide
yeah.
with no fans, no ventilation. I'm not saying to run fans while you're doing voiceover, but be cognizant of shutting
Mhm.
yourself up in a treated room where you might have the weather stripping on the doors. There's no air moving
No,
around, coming in or out if it's well treated. So be cognizant of pacing yourself, giving yourself maybe depending on your space. I don't want you guys to quote me if you have a small space and an hour is too much. Just listen to your body, but take
yeah.
breaks, open the door. It's hard to run fans during recording, your air
Mhm.
conditioner while recording. It's hard to do that stuff because it's really hard to remove that noise in post, and you're better off just having everything off while you're recording.
Yeah.
But you'll start to see narrators on social media in the summertime narrating in bikinis with cold packs on their shoulders.
I've
I
done
do
that.
it too, not necessarily the bikini thing, but cold packs on my shoulders
Mm.
and just sweating it out because that's what's necessary. But
Yeah,
listen to your body and make sure that you're taking air breaks.
absolutely. And
Yeah,
if you're in like a walk-in closet kinda deal, obviously, that's usually attached to a bedroom, right?
yeah.
If it means that you can actually not die, leave the door slightly open.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it will raise the, noise floor by 3 decibels above ambient, but come on. It between that and, I don't know, your partner finding you lying unconscious in your recording space, I would choose the slightly elevated noise floor.
Or your cat. Your cat would probably not care.
I don't care, it's just gonna sit
Just
on
say,
you.
hey, where's my food?
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yep.
Comfort issues.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Comfort issues. I always tell people that I work with when they're setting up their first booth is to make sure that you first and foremost are comfortable when we're talking about desk, chair, and then mic placement, bringing everything to you, that you
Mhm.
first and foremost are comfortable where you plan to record. Put your chair where you're comfortable, where you can reach everything, and if you can't, move it to you.
Mhm.
And then don't touch anything. Like my chair has divots in the ground because it has not moved in in 8 years or
Hmm.
6 years. But still, because once you have everything, anytime you change anything in your studio, the sound's going to be a little bit different. So you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
keep,
absolutely.
for that consistent sound, especially for audiobooks, you want to keep everything in its place. One thing I did, if we're talking about interface settings, anything with dials and buttons and controls that's in your space,
Hmm.
either take a Sharpie and mark where you have it set or take a picture of it, because sometimes the gremlins come in and want to be voice actors too, and they start turning dials and buttons and things. So that was just something I wanted to mention because it's happened many
It's happened.
times.
Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
to
That way
me
you
as well.
remember where all your settings are if they get changed somehow.
Actually, I have a photograph of my entire setup,
Yeah,
and I keep
same.
it in a folder called Recall. Especially because since I have different microphones, that's kind of important. So, but even with folks with just one microphone, just take a photo because anything can you could jostle a knob or something, or uh, you invite people over, and some curious kid's gonna crawl
Yeah.
into your recording space and start playing around with it. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Or the cat did it, or the dog did it, or you did it and probably forgot that you did it
Forgot
because
about it. Yeah.
did that too. All right, so let's talk really quickly before we get over to the questions in the comments.
Mhm.
Um, what is like a couple of super hyped things that you see maybe on social media that people talk about that aren't really necessary in the beginning? Like maybe fancy lights or, I mean, not just equipment, but like accessories, ISO shields. We've talked about those a few times. Do you see anything
Mhm.
else like that out there that isn't really necessary? You really shouldn't be spending money on?
I would say, yeah, fancy lights for sure. And that can actually be detrimental, in fact, to recording because they may introduce things like
Yeah.
interference. A lot of times it can present as a thin line somewhere in your recording, and then when you listen to it, it's just like a very irritating buzz.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can result in something called mains hum, which is really horrible. It's that spike at 60 hertz, and then there's a huge one at 120, and then like little harmonic spikes. And then when you listen to it, it's just like a hum, and it
Mm-hmm.
really raises your noise floor. And even if you high pass that, it's just there, it's ever present. And if you try to remove them, you risk removing parts of your vocal frequencies as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, lights are pretty for social media stuff. If you're doing a TikTok thing, non-critical recording stuff, sure, leave the lights on. Get a ring light so that you're all pretty and tarted up and everything. Uh, but like when you're recording, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Shut everything off if you need to. If you have an iPad, set it to airplane mode, and then just read the script off of that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing unnecessary in your booth, because that can cause things like interference, a lot of times.
And turn off all the notifications on your computer and
Oh my god.
devices while you're
Yeah.
recording. You
I
don't
I
you
I have
don't
it
need the
on.
Discord chime interrupting a perfect chapter because you
That's
forget that stuff. Or
yeah.
your text messages or your Facebook notifications. Turn all that stuff off
Mhm.
while you're recording. Learn the hard
Yeah.
way.
I have learned the hard way, as a matter of fact, yeah.
There was something else I was going to mention about cables, keeping your power cables and your audio cables
You're
separate if you can,
separate.
away from
Yes.
each other.
Mhm.
Um, there was something else. Oh, cables. When I first started moving everything out of my studio and getting longer cables, I first started with extenders because I didn't know,
Mhm.
and quickly discovered that just getting a longer one long cable from end to end, wired connections, is better than trying to use any kind of extenders. You want one clean, solid line
Yes.
of data transfer from end to end. So from your computer to your interface, one long cable. Don't get an extender if you don't have to. Uh,
Yeah.
each USB device has its own dedicated port instead of like a multi dock. I did that
Yeah.
too. I know some laptops you can't, but if you can avoid it, please do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about cables that was simple?
Your what you mentioned about having one long cable is very valid because if you use extenders, well, that's more failure points, you know.
Yeah.
And trying to cram as many USB devices into one USB hub, for example, is
Yeah.
also disastrous.
Yeah.
A lot of times, that will result in lower volume in your from your audio interface because it's not drawing enough power. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you have like a Thunderbolt, what do you call it, Thunderbolt plug in your system, then you can, because that has a lot of bandwidth, you can use a docking station and bring it closer to your recording space.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions. So we have one over on Instagram. Murdog77 says, I have a mobile sound booth, but I'm trying to quiet the noise from outside of my room, but it's but a bit close to the road. Any suggestions on quieting noise vibrations from the outside?
Um, okay. If you don't have double pane windows, and I imagine that might be an issue for you, then try to weather strip those. That's probably the main source of noise, especially if you got a road next to you. And turn the booth around so that the rear of the microphone is facing the road,
Yeah.
rather than having the front of it face the road. And from there, it comes down to processing. Just use a high pass if you can. Actually, yeah, use a high pass. You can use a high pass. Nobody's telling you not to use a high pass. So there
Mm-hmm.
you go.
Maybe a little extra padding will help dampen. I mean, it's not going to completely remove it, but it might help to reduce some of the noises. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about vibrations, also make sure that your mic is on a shock
Shock
mount.
mount.
Shock
Absolutely.
mount will definitely
Mhm.
help with vibrations.
Yeah.
All right. On YouTube, we have Abe. Abe was here early. If I'm dropping money for a booth or room treatment, how can I make sure I'm getting what I need or not just expensive decor?
Well, the easy answer to that is talk to a sound engineer. They know all the mathematics, like tell your engineer, for example, how big your room is and how much money you're willing to spend for room treatment. If your budget is, let's say, around $200, then maybe, foam squishies will work further up, and then you can have actual rock wool. And it doesn't have to be brand name. I mean, if you have a carpenter somewhere who can create a wood frame, stuff it with rock wool, cover it in cloth, and stick it in your booth, then that's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And engineers will know the frequencies based on the kind of voice you have, the size of your room, the height of your ceiling, the type of microphone you have, and the frequency response. That's really the easy answer.
So, sound engineer consultation, in addition to everything that we had just mentioned, would be a good idea. I mean, just take rough
For sure.
estimate, a rough measurements of the room that you're trying to treat, how much of it you're trying to treat, and just get an
Mm.
idea of how much material you're going to need. And just
Yep,
make
yep.
sure that it's padded enough. Do a couple of tests, couple clap
Mhm.
tests, couple recording tests, and if it's not there yet, add more until it
That's
is
one.
there, you know?
Yep, yep. But
Um,
usually that happens when you reach a certain budget. If your budget is zero, just pad all the flat surfaces with stuff. That's
mhm.
really bookshelves with books. Great diffuser. So if you've got those,
So we forgot to hit the poll.
oh
Uh,
yeah, we did, didn't we?
totally skipped the poll. So the poll, what kind of recording space are you using? A lot of people are answering that in the chat, but the poll results so far, it looks like 40% of people, 53 votes, by the way,
Mhm.
40% of people said they have a closet set up.
Mm.
30% said they record in a spare room, which is pretty much what I'm in. I have no idea what the original purpose of this room is, but I'm using it. 23% of you said portable booth, which would be like something that you've built, or a whisper room, even a studio bricks if you're lucky enough. And I envy you if you have one of those.
Yeah.
8% of you said still figuring it out. So I'm hoping those 8% of you, we at least helped you a little bit. And for the rest of you, I hope that we helped you to maybe add, to maybe revise it,
Mhm.
make it a little bit more quiet for you. Looking for questions here. Oh, we still got a half an hour. We can probably go through these. How many comments do we have? We have quite a few. Okay. Ken says he uses a bedroom, 3 real walls with comforters for suppression. Am I reading that right? And a comforter
That's
wall, suppression. Okay. And a comforter wall covering a large vertical dresser, even covered the roof with comforters and a nice shag rug. I'd like to have a shag rug.
that's good. The higher the pile, the better the absorption, actually.
Okay, so Abe says he's in a walk-in closet with clothes, blankets, and sound blankets. I mean, that sounds like a good start. I mean, what is
That's a
the
perfect
end
start.
result now? I mean, are you hitting all of the levels that you want to hit?
Uh, Knowing Abe, I know he has a lower fundamental, so he probably needs a little bit more, but I think that can be taken care of with EQ. It doesn't have to spend more money. Once you get into the rock wool part of sound treatment, that's serious money. So
Mm.
with what he's got, uh, again, there are big names out there. I know one. I'm not going to say his name, but it rhymes with Schmee Schmorter, and he uses he's made bank with
A
a
small little
PVC.
movie that just came out.
Yeah, a tiny little thing, um, called Project Hail Mary.
Yep.
And sometimes that's all you've got when you start your VO business is just a prayer. So
Yep.
there you go. But he made bank with a blanket fort. It was moving blankets, PVC frame. And yeah, he used that for years.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not need to move up to rock wool, really. What you have right now may just be enough.
If it fills your needs and you're hitting all the standards that you want to hit, then that probably sufficient. I mean, Emma Lynn's talking about her 4-poster trash fortress.
Oh boy! So, like again, I'm saying have a mess somewhere, and
Yeah.
as long as it's not a flat wall, uh, if you can just like pile a bunch of soft stuff onto it, I like mattress toppers, whatever, you're great.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it work.
Yep. Paul Silver says, I did the DIY booth or build your own booth with PVC pipes and moving blankets, spent about $150. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Stuart Carruthers says, none of the above. It's my home office with the mic shield. I
Mm.
mean, that could be sufficient if the rest of your room is treated enough for sound. But the
Yes.
mic shields only really block a fraction of
Yeah.
the room that could, reverberate back to you or reflect back to you. But again,
I
as long as it's not you're not hearing a ton of echo or
Yeah.
boxiness, then you're probably fine.
It also comes down to use case. If you're doing a
Yeah.
lot of nonfiction reads, you don't really need a lot of treatment.
Yeah.
Um, if you're doing fiction where you have very expressive characters, a lot of times when you do uh, scream, shout, do all the emotive, expressive stuff, then that's when you start hearing imperfections in your room because that's going to start bouncing around. But if it's a quiet, calm read, sure, home office, shield, perfect.
Murdog on Instagram added on, I have no windows, but any treatment for the walls, pretty much everything that we had just talked about.
Mhm.
But the moving blankets, the duvets, the
Yeah.
any kind of soft, dense materials that you have around you
Yep.
will help to deaden some of that space up for you. It's not going to make it completely soundproof, but it might help
Yep.
to dampen them a little bit.
Slightly. Yeah, exactly. And just pause and go. A
Yeah.
car goes past, pause.
Yeah.
Car's gone, go.
Mm-hmm. Tammy's dogs love her cave. I call this my cave of wonders too. This is also
Mhm.
my cave, but they snore.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Yep.
Rebecca. Good morning, Rebecca. I'm in a walk-in closet and using mostly foam panels and weather stripping for sound treatment. I'm lucky though. The closet is far from almost anything else in the house. That's awesome. You got
Yep.
lucky.
She got lucky.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Review Exchange Group says I use a quiet neighborhood and a spare room. Did you select the neighborhood because it was quiet? Ken says Caesar, the man of many talents. Jade says, new here, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I watched the last video on editing and mastering, best one I have found yet, of course. Because we don't paywall you. Oh, I just realized the comments weren't showing. Oh, sorry about that, guys.
Really?
They weren't showing on the screen. Now they are.
Oh,
It's like a manual button you have to switch. It should just be automatic, but sorry, that's my bad.
that's fine.
David's using a cold storage room under the front porch, concrete all around, including the ceiling, plus acoustic foam. You kind of won the lottery there, David.
Yeah, just don't lock yourself in there.
Yeah, because you'll be the cold storage.
They'll find you after a couple of weeks.
Jade says, small room with spare mattresses in the basement, reinforced hovel with duvets and pillows. That's awesome.
Yeah, that works.
Mm-hmm. Mary Lynn says, happy Tuesday, my dear hubby built a sound booth in our office. Nice hubby. Lots of padding all around. That plus a pass filter gives me a noise floor for days. That's awesome.
Yeah, she meant a high pass filter. And I think it's built into her interface. So, very good stuff.
Poke Mine TCG says, just purchased a used whisper room from a local studio. I still need to treat the inside, though. Good for you. I would totally do that if I had room for one. I just don't. In my little 3-story, like, tree house that I live in, I just don't have the room for one. But that's great. I know there's a few other people in the chat that did the same. They purchased a pre-owned whisper room.
Oh, yeah.
Or Studio Bricks, one of the two. Let's see. Oh, Jade says the padded room in the basement is definitely making me feel like an inverse Jane Eyre situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rebecca says being a voice actor means working alone in a padded room. Like we didn't sound a little insane to begin with. I know, right?
Like I mentioned, the stuff we read sometimes.
Especially you two, right? Do you guys do spicy stuff?
Yeah, we do. Well, we haven't quite officially landed a duet just yet, but we're trying for one.
Oh, Pam's here. Hey, Pam. If I started to tell you all the booths I've gone through with 2 moves and new neighbors AC, I'll just start crying. Latest iteration is in my closet and is CBC, cleared by Caesar.
CBC.
I like it.
Stamp for that, CBC.
Yep, we're coining that. Tammy says, question, what are the best sizes for your booth and what shape should it be? I think size is going to be a little bit different for person to person. I personally would probably make it tall enough, at least for you to stand up in, plus a little extra for the padding to fill that space. But the shape, I'll leave that to Caesar.
Well, okay. Try to avoid a square if possible. Look, I'm not going to. This is not set in stone. Sometimes we have to work with what we got, And if it's a 4x4 closet, then yeah, you just have to make it work. But ideally, 4x6 is the standard, and the 6 is the lengthwise, or from front to back, because that gives room for low frequency waves to travel. Words are hard.
Vibration waves, they're waves.
Yeah, exactly.
She adds on, the reason I ask is because I'm feeling claustrophobic in a 4x5 space here. I'm in a 5x6 space, so anything smaller than that, I could totally see that being a little bit. Not only that, but you would definitely want to make sure that you air that puppy out.
That's right.
Regularly.
Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I use the whole room, because I have the same problem, claustrophobia. And honestly, sometimes comfort is more important than trying to stuff yourself in a small space simply because it's quiet, the quietest place in your house, or I don't know. If you're claustrophobic and you stuff yourself in the quietest closet in your house, it may come through in your performance if you're, fearful or tense or uncomfortable. So, you know,
Hmm.
figure out a place that's quiet enough that won't make you feel scared.
I'm going with that, Rebecca. The clutter on my desk is for sound disbursement.
Hmm.
I like it. Professor Tracy says the best space, I think, is 4 by 6 feet door at one of the ends.
There you go.
Tanya says, hot in the booth in the UK. Let's hear it for the solid British brick built houses and gaming mats. Go,
There you
girl.
go.
Stuart says the distance trick is very useful. Awesome. George is here. Hey, George. My mistake was failing to pick the strongest, most rigid PVC for framing. No, I can just picture it. Did it cave in on you? As a result, my fort has kind of a gangsta lean. That's funny. So,
Look,
how can you reinforce that? Or would you just think just to replace the PVC? Could you reinforce that? You
well, I've
probably
seen build
could.
instructions. Just glue. You put some glue on the elbows. I think really.
You could also reinforce with additional pieces of PVC
Mhm.
between the other ones to make more of a solid
Yes,
frame.
that's
You
right.
could do that too.
Yep.
Hmm. Jenny says a desk mic sitting on a covered and music stand in a closet would work. Uh, a covered
As
music
long
stand.
as
I mean, yeah,
as long as the closet has like clothes in it and it's
yeah,
not completely empty,
yeah,
then you can definitely make it work.
yeah. So you don't have to clear out the closet. All those clothes will help to diffuse and block
Yeah.
some of the reverberations and reflections. So
Don't
leave them
don't
in
make it
there.
tiny. Yeah.
If you've got blankets and pillows and stuff on the shelves, leave them in there. I mean, don't
Yeah.
just clear out enough space for you and your desk to be.
Yep.
That's really all you need to do. Just carve out a little hole.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Let's see, looking for questions. Sage says, good afternoon, everyone. I said portable because my booth is a DIY booth using a canopy frame and grommeted moving blankets for walls, then added pillows in between for insulation. Look at you. Good job.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually building her effects rack. She sounds great. The room sounds great. So
Jules says, as fancy as my booth is, I can still hear heavy rain and thunder or lawnmowers or big trucks if they're close enough. Yeah, I mean, even some of those booths, Jules, yours is I can't remember if it's a whisper room or a studio bricks. Either way, if it's a sound booth, sometimes they aren't completely soundproof, even if they're like double, triple wall. I've seen
yeah.
a lot of people like with construction outside in their triple wall studio bricks room or whatever, they
Mhm.
can still hear some of that through. Yeah, so they're not also completely
They're not.
soundproof.
Yeah, they're not completely. They would attenuate about 45 decibels, and heavy rain and thunder, they're a lot louder than 45 decibels.
Oh
So
yeah.
don't expect if you are in a room that is quiet enough to attenuate thunder, you will want to leave that room after half an hour. Those anechoic chambers, they're very, very uncomfortable to work in. So
I had that Imagine Dragons song, Thunder, in the thunder, lightning in the thunder. Ren's, yeah, cheaply soundproofed my closet pretty well. I mean, you can. I mean, you
yes,
could totally just take a room in your house that you're not using or a closet, you know. The kids go off to college, you got a spare bedroom and then, use their closet if you want
pretty
to. It
much.
doesn't take much. You just have to be smart about how you do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to really buy a bunch of stuff, you know. Jules asked a great, I mean, she's got a Studio Bricks. I think she clarified Studio Bricks. So is it cool to have is it actually, can you have a cool booth? I mean, if you want to not have to add a bunch of stuff to it, there are ventilation kits for those things out there, but I mean, just open your door.
Yeah.
If you're just taking a break and go to editing, just open the
Mhm.
door and, maybe turn a fan on.
Well, the answer to our question is yes. The question is, how much money have you got? Because you can, for example, have a room that's dedicated to air conditioning and have a vent baffle system that will
Yeah.
pipe air into your booth that also has a baffle so it doesn't create noise, but that's expensive.
Yeah.
So crack the door open you know, when it's now and then, just record a few passages, do one chapter, crack the door open, breathe, and, do the human things, and when you're done, close the door again. So
I know where you're going with this, Caesar. No, Caesar. Okay. Abe wants to know, is the sound blanket fort on the PVC frame typically better or worse than a treated walk in?
uh, that's a good question.
Personal
Uh,
opinion, I'd say the walk in's probably better because you got usually more stuff in there
well, sure,
if it's
but
treated
yeah,
appropriately.
the walk-in could also be very small, so it might make you
That's true.
sound boxy.
That's true. That's
So
an
a
upgrade.
sound blanket uh, in a PVC frame in a bedroom that may be quiet, like the quietest part of your house, or the windows are double pane, and the door to the bedroom is a solid core, then yeah, it might be better. In fact, you have room to expand the PVC frame because it's quiet enough. So it's an either or thing.
Hi, Space Angel. Tanya brings up a really good point. Also, your water
Yes.
bottle, your drinking vessels are something to consider too.
Oh yeah. That is true.
So,
The things that are in your booth can resonate depending on your voice.
mhm.
Um, well, I don't have an empty. This actually has stuff in it. Hold on. There you go. So here you go. That can happen when it resonates to a frequency in your voice. Remove them from your booth, or at least keep
Remove
them
them.
filled so they don't.
Remove them.
Yep.
So, would you say plastic is probably better to have in your booth, or is
Yeah.
metal okay as long as it's full?
Yeah. Both.
Yeah. Ceramic container.
That works too. In fact,
Lex
what I do.
s- Lex says this will be my first summer doing narration. I'm so nervous. I absolutely hate it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Just listen to your body, as we said before. Make sure you have
Mhm.
plenty of water. Take lots of breaks. Turn the fans on, the air conditioner on while you're editing, and then turn them all off while you're narrating. And you can keep the narrating sessions as short as you need them to be. Don't overthink it. You'll be fine.
I
We
keep
all do it.
I keep a little thermometer in my recording space in my studio, and once I see it climb up to a certain level, because sometimes you don't listen to your body because you're
Yeah.
like
Just want to push through.
deep into yeah,
Yeah.
or you're like really into the read or something. Once I see those numbers in front of me climb up to what I consider unseasonably hot, that's when I take a pause, open the door, get some fresh air. I have a balcony behind me, so I'm just open the door, take in some fresh air, take a break for about 5 to 15 minutes, and then come back and continue reading. So
Review Exchange Group says, did you know that the air gap below a room door is there for a reason? It's a function considered into the HVAC solution for your home. Don't block it completely. Don't seal it. Just a
mhm,
loose blanket is okay.
yeah, don't just
I mean, you don't have to take
yeah,
silicone caulking and just seal up every little nook. That's not what we're saying. But
no,
if you're having noise problems, then you could probably add a little bit of additional. You don't want to completely block it off. You don't
yeah,
want to seal yourself into what Jade call a pine box. You don't want to
that's right.
build your studio is not going to be your coffin. It doesn't have to be airtight, waterproof, you know? But yeah, he's definitely right. Ventilation.
Yeah, you don't want your audiobook to be posthumously published.
Oh my God, we're so morbid today. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Uh, Rebecca says, I keep a fan just outside of my studio and I turn it on during each break. This cools the studio down as much as possible before I start recording again. I have a fan that points at me that's on the floor in this room. So when I stop recording, I'll turn the fan on to flush out the room. also to cool me down and open the door, and then turn on the air conditioner because I have a Nest thermostat, so I can control it with my phone, so I can turn the AC on during my breaks. Just makes it so much easier to do. But yes, definitely cool yourself down and flush out your room. Yeah, Paul caught that too. Charted up. LOL, dead. Yep, I caught that too. Paul's paying attention.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Machando says, how good is good enough? I meet the ACX requirements, so I wonder how much more I need to do and how to know it helped. It's a good question, and we get this question a lot. I think if you meet the ACX requirements and you still feel like it maybe could be tweaked a little, I would just get feedback. Just get feedback. If you're in a VO's Journey Academy or in our Discord, then ask somebody for feedback. Get peer feedback. Hire a sound engineer to get feedback because
Mm.
we grow accustomed to what we sound like, and then we kind of become deaf to what could be a problem. We just get used to hearing it. We don't
Yeah.
know. So having additional ears from people who can hear or are attuned to the sound will definitely give you great feedback on what you may need to tweak.
I'm going to come back to this towards the end of
Okay.
this live because it actually brings up a very important point.
Oh, wow. There's a lot more comments. We did just get a super chat. Thanks, Ren. Ren said, found out my booth voice combo has a lot of resonance in the lows and low mids. Had to make several bass traps in the corners to tame it. Helped a lot. I'm glad you brought up bass traps. Caesar, what is a bass trap and what does it do?
A bass trap is a very dense, what do you call it, acoustic treatment that occupies the corners of your recording space. It could be the, what do you call it, the vertical corners. It could also be the horizontal corners. And those absorb frequencies below 500 hertz. Now, in order to make a bass trap effective, it has to be made of a very dense material. And that's why a lot of folks, uh, I guess they just, it's not exactly a first investment thing that's like several audiobooks down the line kind of thing, because, yeah, it has to be Rockwell. All right. But if you're starting out and you're just using stuff that's like around the house, nothing really absorbs 500 hertz down, no matter what you use, no matter what you find in the house. So you attenuate that by using EQ. Now, if you can't use EQ, hire an engineer and they can create an EQ curve for you, you know? Um, but yeah, those are things that you either process out or, down the line when you reinvest into your business, that's when you buy bass traps. And they're mostly important for guys, not just guys, but anyone with very low fundamentals, because we have a lot of bass, a lot of chest, and that will bounce around the room because they have more energy than higher frequencies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see if we can just get to the questions. We have a lot more questions now. Homebound Audio says, I framed mine in with some 2x4s and then used like 7 audio blankets on the 4 sides and on the top of the booth. I just open the curtain once every hour for air, hour or 2 for air. Well, yeah. Yeah.
I've seen the setup. It actually sounds great.
Oh, Lexi, that's right. Lexi wanted to share something. So a couple of lives ago, I challenged her to audition
Mm.
and to break the ice. And happy to say I did. I've done 4 now. So I feel a lot better just going for it. Good. See, that's all you need is just a little bit of courage. You need like 2 seconds of courage to hit that submit button. That's all it takes. And then once that's done, the rest is cake. Just do it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to scroll through and see if I can see any questions. Mark Roddy says, any suggested specs for the Rockwool? Looking at updating or upgrading the sound dampening.
If you have the room, start with 3 inches thick. It's not that sticker. But anyway, yeah, and a bit of a 1 or 2 inch gap between the panels and the wall. So that's where you want to start. If you can't afford more and not be not be suffocated in your room, because the thicker the panels, the less room you have.
Air.
'Cause that adds up, like 4 inches
Mm-hmm.
plus two, so you're losing about a foot on either side or something like that. So, yeah, I'd say 3 is your minimum with a bit of a gap, maybe 1, 2 inches behind it. That's where you want to start.
Jade brought up a good point. I'm nervous about locking into a room setup before the audiobook begins. I have to edit out some self noise from the mic, so there is processing no matter what. When do you know when you're ready? You're probably ready right now. I was
Yes.
recording audiobooks before I even had a space. I was recording again with a Blue Yeti microphone on a glass table in my living room and thought I was, it. I was the bee's knees.
Yeah,
So as long as you can tell a great story and meet ACX's requirements, you're going to learn and massage it and get better over time. But don't let all of these things that we need to know, need to learn, need to be perfect. Don't let all of that stuff keep you, and don't make it an obstacle for yourself. Just
absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
You can address all these things as you're going, as you
When
move forward.
when you're starting out, don't strive for perfection, and
Yeah,
when you're successful, don't strive for perfection.
right.
So,
Exactly. Chris is my new favorite. Brought cherry fritters. Thank you,
okay.
Chris. Craig! Craig says, do CRTs present a problem in most cases? And what would you recommend to manage issues other than shielding the mic?
You're using a CRT? That is very interesting. I I don't know how to answer that question, because the last time I used a CRT was 2008. So that's amazing. Here, look, record room tone with the CRT switched on, and if you see anything weird in the noise floor when you do frequency analysis, that'll tell you whether it's a problem or not. I'm just amazed that you're still using a CRT. That's all I can say.
I think Caesar's a little bit mind blown. He's
Yeah,
struggling to speak at the moment. TMP Moist, Moist, he's moist.
moist.
TMP Voice, I am a voice actor, I promise. What could
Good.
cause echoes in your recording?
Ooh, an untreated room. Uh, Flat surfaces, shiny, flat, reflective surfaces,
Walls, shelves,
walls,
doors,
desk.
ceilings. Yep.
Yep,
Hardwood floor,
that's
tile
right.
floor.
Especially a tile floor.
Tammy says, attention, ladies, perfect excuse to buy more clothes.
Yes, you can call it room treatment.
There you go.
That
Strange
nice
Storm Cat
product.
says, yeah, and write it off on your taxes. Glass
Exactly.
water bottle with a foam cozy around it. Is that sufficient?
Uh,
Glass. Yeah. I don't know about glass. It could be noisier than we'd want it to be.
well, because when you say it's a water bottle, I mean, it'll with a tiny neck and all that. Well, I don't know. I'd say err on the side of caution and get
Because I'm
something
I'm
that's
picturing like a glass water bottle, and then the cozy's like here, and then you've got
right.
all of this exposed glass. I mean, that's what I'm picturing, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Again, if it's full, it probably won't make a difference. If it's starting to get close to empty, then it can become more resonant. So, yeah.
Kenneth says, "How about keeping a bowl of ice in your room?" Well, I mean, if it's a big bowl and maybe you got your feet in it, I mean, do whatever you like.
I would watch for humidity though, because microphone
Oh, that's
capsules
true.
are like sponges. They will
Yeah,
absorb.
might damage your equipment.
Yeah.
Kat says, "Is rock wool panels or more like fabric?"
Well, if you're talking about bass traps, they have to be rock wool. Really, density is what's important about them.
Oh, Mark Samuel says, "Hello, Angela and all VO travelers." I like that. I found recycled denim to be effective.
Hmm. Yes,
Interesting.
they can make good bass traps and acoustic panels, actually.
Hmm.
Because again, recycled denim, very dense when packed.
Sage says, "I got the idea for my booth from Anthony's Hobo Fort." Yep, yep,
Hey,
yep. He's inspired many with that. Jade says, thank you, sniffle and encourage tears. Yes, do it.
Do it.
Let's see. And as the ice melts, it will crackle. Good call, Paul.
Okay. I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right.
Yep, you're very right. TMP voice says the wall opposite the bedroom is treated with heavy vinyl, rug on the floor. Also, there's a vent in the closet, mostly closed, so you don't hear the HVAC noise.
Mm. Okay, so heavy vinyl, that is for soundproofing. That's really good because it's a very dense material and it can actually block sound. So that's
I was just giggling at Ravik. The noisiest water bottle, yeah, because they just crinkle. And then even if you drink it, you
oh.
put them down, they just crinkle because
Mhm.
they're super thin. So they make a lot of noise, those water bottles, they do.
Oh man,
But you can
yeah,
buy like, what, 24 of them, 24 of them for like $6.
yep.
So,
Paul Silver is struggling to type something, but his apostrophe is very close to the enter key, so we'll have to.
Oh, oi. Oi!
Oi!
Oi! All right. Was there anything that we didn't talk about today, Caesar, that you'd like to throw in before we go for today?
Actually, I want to end this discussion with something that I think Obi-Wan Machanda brought up. It's that even if your space isn't complete, let's say, for example, there are things that you notice that you feel like require more treatment or whatever. Oh, there it is. I'm getting out of my vinyl cat suit now, so I can reduce my noise floor. Maybe a little harder
You're
though.
going to make
Thank
a
you.
lot more noise. Just don't move, Paul, because if you move, it's going
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Michelle Pfeiffer. But anyway, okay. So a lot of folks strive for perfection when it comes to treating their space. They want to make sure that it's not boxy, it's not muddy, it's not boomy, it's not whatever. And here's the thing: when you start out, you will have that problem. All right, and that's fine. If you're starting out and you know that your space isn't quite perfect, your performance isn't quite perfect, or your microphone isn't quite perfect, then just go ahead and charge low. For example, target like royalty share, target or do low PFH rates, right? And then once you get some money coming in, then that's when you start slowly taking care of the little things in your space that may be a little resonant or a little boxy or a little muddy. And then once you do that, then raise your PFH rates so that you can upgrade some more, or maybe set aside that budget for a sound engineer who can listen to your room and correct all the things for you. But the important thing is to start to get your ass in gear and then reinvest in your business and level up as you move up the ladder. And the reason why I say that is because the big reason why some folks don't start, they throw things into a closet, they put their mic in there and they're just afraid that it's going to sound awful, right? Uh, the fact of the matter is you're just afraid. You just won't admit it because you'd rather blame your space, your equipment, your processing, anything to rationalize your paralysis. So don't let that happen to you. There are a lot of people out there who still use blanket booths to this day and charge $250 per finished hour.
Sage brings up a good point, and also to piggyback off of what Paul was saying about the vinyl cat suit, what you wear also matters, just to throw
Oh
that
yeah.
in there too. If you're wearing corduroy pants
Oh,
or jewelry, bracelets, earrings,
oh,
necklaces,
they jingle and jangle. Don't do that. Right.
yeah. If you have like acrylic nails and you tend to click them together, I mean, you really got to think about what can make noise and eliminate it before you start recording, and
Yep.
try not to move too much.
Polyester and polyblend is also another issue because they will zip.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, you guys, that was it for us today. If you have something else that you'd like Caesar and I to talk about, then leave it in the comments or in the chat. I mean, we do these for you guys, so, let us know what you want to talk about. But thank you for joining, Caesar, as always. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for you.
It's 1 o'clock, but that's fine. I
so-
love being part of these.
So I appreciate it. And everybody loves you being part of these. So thank you for doing that. All right, you guys, we'll be back, or I will be back at least. I don't know when Caesar, but we'll talk about it. We'll see when we can get Caesar back on. But I will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Caesar.
Bye.